Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Suppe getting that first win there on competitive mega round and moving into game number 2. It is on Sheltered Pass. This one is going to be very, very interesting. I can't wait to see what these guys are going to come up with on this map. In my opinion, I think this is a really, really good Zeus map, a really, really good Norse map, potentially a decent set map as well. And those are the gods I would probably pick on this map. Potentially you could pick Ra here, but I feel like you might find yourself, well, you can play around. I think Ra might be good here as well if you can just play that defensive style, but you do find yourself giving the entire map over to your opponent. Potentially Bast play here wouldn't go astray. Like a Bast classical fight from Ra would probably be decent here as well, actually, to come to think of it. And then, yeah, that's probably it. But we'll have to wait and see. Going to be jumping in right now and seeing exactly what is on the cards here. Spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Suppe. So we do see a very, very exciting game in front of us. We've got both these players' strongest gods matching up. This is exactly what I kind of wanted to see. You get one game where the guys go in at their very best, and you get to see exactly what happens as a result of it. We've got a huge amount of rhino spawns in the main base as Kimo sent all of his villagers over here already. It looks like he is getting hunting dogs. His Pharaoh's scouting around, finding these rhinoceros. We'll see if he's going to be able to find his zebra as well, as he does see them. They're right in front of his base, but will not actually spot them here. So he might feel like he's only got the 1,000 food here, 1,000 food over here. Though that being said, Ra with 1,000 food in the main base allows Ra to do any strategy Ra wants to do. You can go for a 4-minute second town center. You can go for a 2-monument Bast advance time. You can go for a 2-monument Tar 2-town center advance time. You go for 4-minute whatever you can go for a 4-minute classical fight. You can go for literally any Ra strategy is going to work here really, really well. However, the fact that there's this much rhino in the main base for Kimo is going to mean Kimo is going to be very, very scared in this game of what the Odin player is going to be able to do, because look at what Suppe has done here. I don't know if you guys noticed it, and I'm not sure he did it here, actually, because he's done no damage to these rhinos. I thought he dragged the rhino in, great hunted, and then pulled it in. But he just managed to pull it all the way in next to his town center, allowing the villagers to gather this perfectly. And I think this is really, really good, because anytime you can skip an ox cart allows the Odin player so much advantage in the early game. As we see the temple coming down in the front of the map here. This is absolutely standard. This is exactly what I expect to see happen here. As you take a look at the map, it is a 1-hole sheltered pass. There is potential for 2-hole sheltered pass to come through. But the idea is that what you want your buildings to look like is 1 temple, 1 barracks, 1 wall, 1 barracks, 1 armory, house, walls, buildings, all the way over to the other side to allow yourself to completely cut your opponent off from raiding you in this game. So we'll see what's going to happen there. As we see the temple coming up for Kimo is getting his wood income. So it looks to me this looks fairly similar, or fairly just like a very standard Ra advance time here. Though if we take a look at the food here, probably going to be about a 4:30 advance time, though the temple looks slight bit late. No, it's fine. It's perfect. It's going to pop up. It's going to pop just in time as the villager moving up here. There's a lion over here. He might be jumping onto the berries. There's not many berry bushes here at all. As Kimo, yeah, he just hasn't found his next hunt spot. His town centers. This town center is actually not too bad. He can drag 1 rhino underneath it if he needs to and then start the farms. But he might not, like I said, he might not feel comfortable against the Suppe Heimdall that is coming for him. And Suppe only knows how to Heimdall rush nowadays. I haven't seen him go Freya in forever. And the thing about Heimdall is players overreact tons. Everyone overreacts tons with regards to Heimdall. And we'll have to see what's going to happen now in this game as stars coming through. But we've got ourselves 7 villagers on the gold. Pickaxes coming through as well for Kimo. So a lot of economic upgrades coming through. He's got himself 2 herdables in his main base, 3 villagers on the wood here. So to me, it looks like Kimo was going for a... Wait, how did that... Oh, that villager popped through the... I thought the villager came out of the town center there, but it didn't. He just took 1 villager off of food and put it over onto gold here. But to me, it kind of looks like Kimo is going for a 1 town center play, even with the 8 villagers on gold at the moment. As the Hersa moving forward, we do see a longhouse coming through here for Suppe, as it kind of looks like Suppe is going for a very, very aggressive Heimdall rush now against Kimo. We'll see what's going to end up happening here as the Ravens floating around at the top over there. And the house is coming down onto this position. We could see something happen here from Suppe. Suppe knows how to make this work. So if anyone can make this work, Suppe is going to be able to. As this Hersa looks like it's almost going to get taken out there from that tower. But an undermine here from this tower all the way over to this tower is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if Suppe's going to go for it, if he's going to go for something else in this game, as he's getting himself out. A couple of units over here. Raiding cavalry coming down. Longhouse gets slightly abandoned here. I'm a bit disappointed to see Suppe not build his buildings a little bit more in a blockage pattern here, but nonetheless, villagers finishing up on the Rhino over there. He's got a handful of villagers still on the wood. Shadoof coming through. Plow coming through as well for Kimo, as he empowers up that temple to get Shadoof forward. He's getting his armory down. The villagers throwing the farms up all around the town center. He's got 11 farms here. Now, I don't think I'm fairly sure Kimo knows the windmill fashion, because I've seen, or the windmill, what do you call it? Windmill formation of farms, but he didn't throw it down here, which makes me a little bit confused. For every civilization that's not Ra, the windmill... all that really matters is just you get 8 farms on your town center around each of the sides. For Ra, though, when you're or Egyptian, when you're empowering the town center, you can put 12 close enough. 4 of the farms are close enough to attach to the town center. This is not that bad. So you should know it if you're playing as Ra. It's really, really good as Ra. As we do see the rain coming through, that's going to signify to Suppe that Kimo is not 100% not going for 2 town center. 100% he's rained before advancing to the heroic age, which means the economy of Kimo are going to be a little bit low here. So we'll see what Suppe's going to do. Suppe dropping an armory here, as it looks like he wants to go to the next age. We'll see if he's going to go through Njord or go through Skadi in this game, as the raiding cavalry swinging in onto this position, going to be taking down this watchtower over here, as the Wadget going to be moving over onto this position as well. We do see some relics that have been ignored on this map, Guide's Book of Knowledge and the Scales of Katobalpa. So no surprises there. They both basically do nothing. One gives you a bonus against Titans, and the other is on the other gives you like a reduction in myth unit crush vulnerability, which really doesn't help at all over the course of the game, as Kimo going to be hitting the next age, and Suppe also going to be hitting the next age at relatively the same moment. But this is a little bit scary for Suppe, as the walls are coming up now. He's going to be, it's going to be just a handful of walls here, not the biggest of deals, but we've seen Njord coming through for Suppe as well. That's huge. That means that Kimo basically needs to be able to build. He needs 2. Oh God, what can he do? I really don't know. I think that Kimo might need 2 more monuments here and spamming out Petsukos, or at least have a second monument already, because he doesn't have any at this point. 2 monuments would be a really big help right now for Kimo. 3 monuments even better, because he'd be able to make Tsukos to deal with the Walking Woods, and also Petsukos to be able to deal with the Frost Giants and all the other good stuff that comes from it. But Kimo here, he's going to have to figure out a way to play, as he's about to get walled in completely. Suppe moving up to the top side of the map there. We see the mining camp attempting to get thrown down, but not going to be going for it just yet. As Suppe just about to be dropping himself a hill fort in this game as well. as the villagers just chilling over on this position over here. Hathor just about to pop a shaft mine, going to be coming through. The villagers waiting to drop their Migdol stronghold down. And we'll see how Soup is going to react to this, because there is a world where Soup can drop himself undermine onto this position and potentially kill the Migdol stronghold before it gets up. I don't think he's going to be able... Maybe he could use it to kill the watchtower and get some damage done onto the Migdol. And he does actually go for it there, as the Migdol will go down. Well, not the Migdol, the towers will go down. The Migdol will definitely stay alive, but will be significantly injured at the end of it all. More of these walls getting taken down as Njord has hit. We are seeing that hill fort already up as well, basically up for Soup. He's going to be retreating back. These walls almost finished up. The Rock going to get picking up those units. He's going to start just moving straight over this location. He will get notified of the hill fort immediately here. If we move over to Kimo's perspective, sees the hill fort, not paying attention to the Rock, as the throw and axeman getting some huge damage done. This is absolutely huge for Soup, but he doesn't have any upgrades for those throw and axemans. The Rock is going to be staying alive for the time being here. That Rock may have been picked off had Soup already had his upgrade there for the throwing axeman. As the villagers moving over onto this position over here, the throwing axeman helping out as well. I mean, the Lions helping out, getting a villager kill there, as the army going to be moving in onto this position. We do see the Walking Woods getting cast down over there as the army going to be pulling back. The villagers over here have been caught out on this position. The wall's already up there for Soup, as he's going to be moving over here to try and take them out. Does Kimo have any upgrades coming through here in terms of his villagers? No, he does not, as he's trying to pump out units as fast as he possibly can here. The raiding cavalry is swinging around on the top side of the map. They're taking out those villagers. They have to retreat back. The Rock will pick those up, pull them back to safety here. As the Hearser coming through, trying to take out the Patsukos over here. That Pharaoh going to be doing tons of damage onto the Walking Palms, onto everything else over there. As Kimo's going to be looking for another gold mine to go to. Villagers now moving over onto this gold mine there, as the Pharaoh a little bit out of position there. Does pick up that rock, is going to be pulling it back. Villagers currently idle, as he hasn't managed to keep those alive. As the Mountain Giant going to get in onto the Migdol stronghold here, as the Patsukos and the Pharaoh trying to take this down as fast as it possibly can. Shifting sands into the main base there from Kimo there, pulls his Patsukos back into there, but the Migdol stronghold gets taken down, as Soup is going to be losing his Mountain Giant and a lot more. And does Kimo have enough gold here in his back? He's got 700 gold left in his main base. He'll be sending his villagers out over here to try and get a Migdol stronghold down over onto this position here. We'll see if Soup's going to be able to notice it or not. Soup's currently got heavy infantry already, ladies and gentlemen. That's absolutely huge. Soup has not been blindly training units at all in this game. He's focused heavily on getting himself straight to heavy infantry so he can compete against these Migdol units, of Kimo. As Kimo's going to try and push out here, trying to use his range advantage against Soup's army. Going to be looking around to get some raids happening here, but Soup is basically walled up as the villagers on this gold mine over here. Do we see that Migdol stronghold coming up? Yes, we do. As the Rock going to be coming over here to try and defend these villagers as well here. The raiding cavalry swinging up to the top side. We see the walls coming through here for Soup as well. He's almost got these walls up. There is going to be a way through over here. Nope, the wall is up. Kimo's unit's going to have to swing through here to get by. Another building getting thrown up here. We'll stop this as well, as Soup's just waiting back here. He hasn't moved over to check this gold mine out just yet, as the Rock does move over onto that location. Kimo desperately needs to get some sort of a raid happening as the villagers moving forward. This could be absolutely huge for Kimo here. He spots the villagers over here. Locust getting dropped down onto this position here as the villagers spread out. He picks off 2 villagers there, as honestly Soup gets pretty lucky there. His villagers were already kind of auto-spreaded by the Locust on that position there. Huge for Soup there, as Kimo needed that damage done to get some sort of advantage in this game. As Barris getting dropped down here, Kimo knows he needs to get our Axemen to deal with all of the Huskal, Ulfsark, Thorn Axemen that are coming out here. We do have a handful of units coming through onto this position. Do we see a town center of some variety coming up for Soup just yet? He's got the resources just about to come in. Lots of gold in the bank, as the army does chase down this raiding force over here as well. 4 raiding cavalry and 1 Huskal, more than enough to deal with the cavalry, as it will be able to retreat away from here. We do see the Patsukos does manage to get through on here. 15 HP remaining. Picks off 2 villagers there as well, but the Hearser comes in. Kimo not paying attention over here, as both players just sit there not doing anything, and the Hearser picks off the Patsukos. Absolutely huge for Soup there is Kimo going to have to retreat back into his main base and rethink how he's going to continue to get pressure done onto Soup's economy. Soup now grabbing this town center over on this position over there, as Kimo's going to have to start thinking about how he's going to be able to get himself his own second town center. Now we see the villagers coming over here. Kimo sitting at 77 population to Soup's 94 population. Plenty of gold in the bank for Soup. Soup can make Einiyar here. This is the big advantage of going Heimdall when you go for Njord, is that you get access to a gold unit, which you can spend all of that excess gold you get and favor, because normally you just build frost giants, right? But you can't build frost giants when you go for Njord. You can only build mountain giants. You don't have the food to build those mountain giants. So building Einiyar is actually, there's no problems there. It's a really good unit to build in this position, as the Huskar are pushing through to try and take out those chariot archers on the back. The throw an axeman here need to focus fire just a little bit better here, as those axemen of Kimo are going to be really, really strong over here. Meanwhile, the raiding cavalry coming through to push off of that gold mine, as we see a granary coming through now for Kimo as well to try and grab these rhinoceros. But Kimo here, he's falling lower and lower, less and less on the gold. He does have a market here, so he can trade for a little bit at this point. But there's just so many units through here for Soup. And Soup doesn't retreat when he's in these positions. He just keeps going as the villagers trying to get picked up here. Plenty of villagers falling as Kimo's villagers pop out over here. Going to try and repair the town center back up. He's got very little gold left in this game. And Kimo in that position has to tap out here, as Soup is just too dominating in this game. Soup's heroic, this all comes down to the usages of their god powers in this game. Kimo got next to no value from his shifting sands. He picked up a couple of walking woods, and that's about it. Kimo got 2 villager kills, probably 4 villager kills total from his locust. Soup got basically killed a Migdol stronghold, killed off a house, killed off a tower, and broke open this position completely with his god powers. And that was just the difference here. I think if Kimo managed to if Kimo didn't run back with the rock and didn't try and help out with the defense and try and go for this gold mine straight away, actually got an army before he moved out of his base and went for just complete rock raids from the get-go, then Soup has to basically move forward to mine this gold mine with this next to this hill fort to deal with the rock. And then Soup's going to have to figure out how he's going to get food here. There are zebra in the middle of the map here, so he probably would have been able to be fine, but Kimo would have at least got a little bit more damage here. He wouldn't have lost all of his villagers. He wouldn't have had all that idle time. And this is just the fact of Ra. You have to sit in, if your opponent is one town center and you are one town center, you have to sit in your base until you have enough units to push out. And that's the same thing with two town center and everything else. And because you've got the market, because you've got a bit of trade to play with, you can always get to 115 population, move out of your base, and deal with it then. And I feel like that was the mistake here from Kimo. And Soup managed to capitalize beautifully here, moving up 2 wins to 0 here already on match point. This could be a very, very short series, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if Kimo can get some composure here in this game, regroup, think about what he's going to do in the next game, and try and get back on the scoreboard. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.